I think it's funny too because the comments on the like ESPN, it's literally just a bunch of old dudes just like arguing about like is it a real hole in one or not. Like people are going at each other's throats. It's kind of hilarious.
Awesome show today, man. Awesome show. We got Neal Shipley as an excellent, excellent guest. There's a lot going on in his world. He's all over the internet this week with the first ace in TGL history. He, of course, played in the final round a few years ago of the Masters tournament with Tiger Woods when he finished low amateur, and it's his first full year out there on tour. It's all brought to you by Chevy. This show is brought to you by Chevy and the Chevy Equinox, which is your do-it-all SUV from your daily drives, weekend trips, last minute tee times with their active trim. Equinox is at home on dirt and gravel. Equinox's big touch screen puts all your music, maps, and tech front and center. We know because we use these things on the road for our trips all the time. We take 100 flights a year per person. We're in the Chevy Equinox all the time. It's the best SUV. And we got a lot of good stuff on this show too, Trent.
Yeah, Neal Shipley on the show. We also talk a good amount about golf trips, planning them, the pressure of planning them. Then we get into the Charlie Woods news that broke this last couple of days of him committing to play golf at Florida State. Packed show. Again, always great to have Neal Shipley on the show. He's a fantastic guest, and it's all brought to you by our great friends at Chevrolet.
Closest to the pin makes a return as well, and Chevy presents all of it. So big thanks to them. Make sure that you check out the Chevy Equinox. It is your do-it-all, go anywhere SUV. Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. It's the second show of the week. It is the first elevated event of the year on the PGA Tour, the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. We, in a very unlikely twist of fate, have an incredible relationship with Pebble Beach thanks to our golf sugar daddy, Josh Isner. We get to go to the Dad Bod Classic every year, so we've played there like 5 or 10 times. Going to be there in a couple weeks for the Dad Bod Classic, so seeing all the clips, you can tell you're somewhere cool when all the guys are sharing like true legitimate Instagram stories. I saw like Colin Morikawa just put up like an Instagram story video that you or I or Ryan Richardson would like put up just standing on the 7th tee at Pebble Beach. So it's going to be an awesome week. The weather was insane. On Tuesday, I think Akshay Bhatia hit a mini driver on the 105-yard par 3 7th hole that Frankie's never hit in regulation with a wedge. So we're going to get the entire Pebble Beach treatment this week. It being an elevated event, everybody or almost everybody's there. Rory's back playing at the PGA Tour for the first time this year. Scottie's in the field. Tommy. I want to go through a little bit of the betting odds, which I found interesting. Justin Rose is coming off like a 100-shot victory, so we're going to get into that. We have Neal Shipley joining the show. Neal Shipley just lit the old TGL digital golf world on fire a couple nights ago with the first ace in TGL history in his debut experience at TGL. So it'll actually be our second time having Neal Shipley on the show. We had him on right after he was in that final round with playing with Mr. Tiger Woods, which I think was the last round Tiger played at the Masters. And I was kind of combing through my notes, but if you recall, Neal Shipley had the iconic like side-eye look from Butler Cabin when he won low amateur sitting down in there. And he's one of those guys. Since then, he had the whole Oakmont thing where he was just rolling around Oakmont last year, like drinking. If you guys remember that, he was all over that place. So he's got the long hair. He's got the whole thing. I'm excited to catch up with Neal Shipley. And we got a couple other golf things to get to, including, a little bit of research I did on major championships in the golf world. But gents, what's going on? How are we?
Doing fantastic. Pebble Beach week. Yeah, you said it. It's a very special place. We get to go there a bunch. Thank you to Josh Isner. It is such an incredible trip that we're about to embark on in March, actually. So a couple weeks from now. It's so good that, you guys know how big of a family guy I am, and I love to go to all these events, and my family has a bunch of events and birthdays. It's my godson's birthday, obviously, every year, March 1st. And I am missing these birthdays because of the Dad Bod. And this is like the one scenario my whole entire year where it's like, I don't know that the people in my life understand the setup that is the Dad Bod Classic, and how like if you miss it, like you're missing the greatest thing in the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like it is Pebble Preserve as golf guys. It's like, this is, you're basically getting invited to heaven for 3 or 4 days, and it's like, hey, you get to just like walk around heaven and then go back to your life. So it's something I really struggle with, where it's like I keep missing this stuff, and I'm very sorry about it. But it's like he's made this trip so good that it's turned into like, even if it was your wedding date, you'd have to like maybe miss it. That's how good this trip
dude,
is.
your family's like, dude, you play golf all the time. I'm watching
different,
you on camera.
man,
Like,
and
what do
they
you
know
mean?
it at this point. It's different. I mean, you guys can stand up for me here because they're gonna be listening to this. It's fucking.
When people ask me if I've ever played Pebble Beach, it's the most like bashful kick in the dirt I get, because we are so spoiled. But it's such a good trip because we probably played it 5 or 6 times, and people be like, have you ever played Pebble? It looks like the best place in the world. And yeah, we have, and we are very lucky, and we pretty much get to play it every single year. But it's a place that you can go back to a million times and still have the same great experience every single time. Every time, usually we fly into San Francisco and make the drive down to Monterey. That drive never gets old. At one point you just hit the ocean and you're there, and then you start seeing the darker trees, and it's got a feeling. Pebble Beach, ever since the first time we went there, which probably would have been when Dave did the Mulligan Challenge, might have been my first time going to Pebble. It's just got a magic to it, and you really can't describe it unless you've been there. And again, we've been lucky enough to go a bunch, and the feeling never gets old, and I can't imagine it ever will. So every trip that we get to go out there, despite being able to do it a bunch of times, I still feel so lucky that I get to do it.
Dude, the trip is so ridiculous that like Pebble Beach arguably isn't even the highlight of the trip. Like we do so many things on that trip. You could argue the preserve day. You could argue the dinner that we do at the beach house right there. You could argue the accumulation of all of the dinners, the fire pit hang at Spanish Bay. If anybody's been there, like the inn at Spanish Bay just is one of the coolest hotels. It's this sprawling hotel that's just kind of on the other side of this point from where Pebble Beach is. And by the way, that point in between the two of them is like Cypress Point and Spyglass and all these places. But like right around the corner is the inn at Spanish Bay, which is part of the same family. Pebble Beach Resorts owns all of it, but that's usually where we stay. And then we play golf in the morning, and then in the afternoon, Josh just rents these like fire pits that sit out on like the veranda overlooking the sunset of the Pacific Ocean while the bagpiper plays. And we just get to like have drinks and hang out with 25 of our really cool friends that we've gotten to make over the last year. Like my brother gets to go there. The trip's so cool. My brother takes like 4 flights on each direction on the way in there just to get there, and misses like a month of work to go to a 3-day trip. But point being, like, the trip is so ridiculous. And the reason it's so ridiculous is Josh basically does what I think almost everyone listening to this podcast has fantasized about doing. If like you just became, he didn't become, he worked for it, but if you just became, an unlimited money kind of guy, you always think like, oh, I would just take care of all my friends and have a great time. That's just what Josh does. It's like incredible. What he does for his entire life. And he's a huge golfer. He's a much better golfer than anybody on this show, which is infuriating. But he basically set the whole thing up for that reason. He's got his Uncle Lou. He's got his cousins. He's got his friends from work. He's got us, friends from home, Ernie, Todd Martin, all these phenomenal people that he was like, yep, you're awesome. You're a big part of my life. I'm going to put together this trip at the coolest place to play golf in the world. And you guys don't have to worry about anything. Just show up, be cool, have fun, play golf, and we get to do it. So, like, that's our relationship to Pebble Beach. It's very funny. I was able to, like, leverage my brother onto the trip. You guys got to know Josh. So you guys have become a part of the trip. So it's this very cool, cool group of people that all kind of get it. You got Ernie giving, like, speeches every year that he, like, tries to memorize poems. And it's just awesome. So seeing Pebble Beach this week pop up on my screen, it got me like, the dad bod sneaks up on you, I feel like, every year, because it's just, I don't know exactly
on our
why.
Schedule.
It's almost like,
we don't put it on our schedule. At least I don't. So it's that thing that I always know is like sometime in the beginning of the year, and always is on my godson's birthday. So like, and that now I'm starting to remember when it is. But like, it does sneak up on you quick because we have the players. We've got a lot of stuff going on. It's like in between Waste Management and the players. And you're already trying to traveling a lot. For us, we're going cross country to Arizona and coming back and then going out there. But you know what? Pebble Beach, I have a painting of it downstairs in my basement, in my little man cave. Shout out to Tim Smith Art. That guy's absolutely unbelievable. But when I look at that photo, I'm like, I can't believe I get to go to that place. I can't believe that's a real spot, because it really is magical. So yeah, we're in for a good one this week to be able to watch the pros go and play. It's an elevated event. The best players in the world are going to be competing on the best golf course in the world. So very, very exciting. And honestly, and just to bring it back real quick to golf trips, like running a golf trip, especially at that magnitude, is not easy. I mean, it's like a full-time company at this point, like the Bod Classic, like with the amount of merchandise he brings and all of this stuff, and bringing all these people from around the country to the most expensive, exclusive part of golf that you can really imagine, which is Monterey Peninsula. But like, I'm dealing with this right now with my buddy's trip. I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with this with like trying to like book anything out, but like a lot of these golf trips, and hopefully people can relate to this because this is something I'm really struggling with right now, is like a lot of these golf trips, you can only find like a certain amount of a certain number, and too many becomes too much, especially at these resorts. It's really, really hard to book out like 4 or 5 foursomes, especially if you go over that. It's like these places are super, super tight. They're booked out for years. So when you finally get into one, like we're going to Stream Song, me and my buddies this year. And like we went to Forest Dunes the year before that. And we went to Big Cedar the year before that. And I have my 16 guys that I go with. And it's a collection of older guys. We got the Biggie. He's 81 years old. He's on my wife's side. We've got her dad, his brother. So it's like a bunch of my wife's, cousins who are now my cousins now, uncles, my dad, my brother-in-law, and then like 4 or 5 of my really close friends. But I have, a collection of 12 buddies from home that we're in a group chat with, that we're all best friends. And I pick like 4 or 5 of the guys out of that group to bring on these trips. And like, we do get great deals, and like the golf courses love to have us there because like we'll film a video or whatever it might be. So it's a once in a lifetime trip for a lot of these guys, which is why I do all this stuff. Like that's why, like aside from like trying to give Frankie Boy the best life of all time and like accumulate as much money as possible, it's also to just share experiences that we've been able to experience with our friends and family. Like that's what gets me up in the morning. I swear to God, like I'm going to Daytona this week, and we'll talk about that later. Like with my father-in-law, it's my 3rd time trying to bring him there. Like it's all I want to do is like get him to the thing that he watches every year. He loves NASCAR. He's never been to a race. I know that we have a connection there. I want him to see those cars turned on. I want him to fucking hear the rumble. Like that's like all I care about. Like I've been able to experience it when I go there. When I go to Pebble Beach, I'm like, I wish my dad was here. I wish like people that I know would love this are here with me. So I try and recreate that. So that's like all I care about. And then it hurts my feelings, and it makes me sad when people get left out of that, especially in my friend group. And like, they'll throw jabs at me that I know that they think they're joking, but like last night, like one of my buddies was like, "Oh, Frankie, I met a guy that like was like so hyped that like I'm friends with you, like at this work dinner." And like, and my other buddy was like, "Does he know that you don't invite him on this awesome golf trip? Because like he's another one that doesn't get invited." And now all the guys that don't get invited are like, "Yeah, must be nice. And like, I'm sitting there like, yeah, I should be able to take a joke, but like I genuinely feel bad that I leave people out. So it's like, it's really hard with golf trips. It's not like a bachelor party where you're like, let's just get a house with 40 people in it, and it doesn't matter. It's like golf is really hard to plan out, and it's like finite, and it's really, really tight, and you leave people out, man. Like there's people on Hannah's side that like I'm picking one brother instead of the other. It's not like I'm picking, but it's like these are the people I golf with. It's hard, dude. It's really hard. So shout out to Josh for like, because that's the trip of a lifetime. I'm sure he's keeping people out on his side as well. And the fact that we get a look at that does not, that does not go by me, easily. Like I think of that often, at how hard it is for him to choose his, whatever it is, 20 guys that go on the dad bod. It's fucking hard.
You ever seen the movie? I think is it Limitless with Bradley Cooper?
I think I may have seen that movie.
That's a movie I never saw, but I know of it very well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good premise.
Yeah,
it's a very good movie. But there's
yes,
parts where he starts taking the pill, and then he just like unlocks the 90% of your brain or whatever that doesn't usually work, and he's just unbeatable at everything. I almost feel like Josh Isner has some sort of pill like that, because he's just on top of everything. I don't know how he's running this massive publicly traded company. He's all over booking everything for this trip, from the drafting of teams and to the dinners, and I'm just insane. Like, how can one human being do that? But no, you're 100% right, Frankie. And I do think this is pretty relatable, just the golf trip part, because over the last decade, probably even over the last 5-6 years since COVID, golf destination and golf trip business has just skyrocketed. And if you look at our generation in general, our generation is much more inclined to spend money on experiences and trips and traveling in general versus like hunkering down and saving for this or for that. And that's translated in the golf world to people going on golf trips. But I do think booking your annual buddies golf trip, and every one of them needs a quarterback of the trip. And when you are the quarterback of that trip, it's insanely tricky. And it starts with the number of people. Like with my trip from all my buddies from St. Louis, we call it the Struggle. That's what St. Charles, Missouri is known as, the Struggle. It's started with 8. And I was like, we're never going to go more than 8, because I've been on enough trips where like we've got our core group from home. It's my brother and his 3 or 4 best friends from his age. He's 4 years older than I am. It's me and my 3 or 4 best friends that are my age. And like we've all kind of meshed together. A bunch of us played hockey together. It's going to be this core 8. And I just think when you get too many people, you sort of lose the intimacy of the trip. You end up at the end of the trip having 5 or 6 guys you didn't even talk to, you never even played with, versus like I'd rather kind of hang with everybody. Well, that was obviously impossible. So then we went to 12 and it took like 3 years or something. You go to 12, and the first year or two, it's almost like you're kind of with that 12th or 11th spot. It's pretty easy to fill. You're almost like looking for a couple people from the outside to bring in. Now it's at the point where I'm like, I feel like we have to go to 16 at some point, because in that time over the last 5 years, I've made a bunch of friends within that group that are super tied to that group, but that aren't on the trip, to now where it's like a funny, long running joke every time I'm home of like, if somebody misbehaves around me, they're out for consideration around the Struggle trip, and they're like lobbying to try to get on the trip, which isn't really serious, but it's kind of serious. So yeah, I think that's a big part, of trips, and shout out to all the golf resorts, man, because I know these places more than a decade ago or whatever were not filling up even months in advance. They were trying to get people, trying to come up with advertising schemes and get promotion, whatever. And with the boom of social media, of golf, of all of it, I just think like it's so hard to book a trip now. I believe Bandon Dunes does a lottery system over a year in advance just to have an option to book a trip.
That's insane.
You have to like win the lottery to be able to pay full price to book a trip. Is like how it works. So it's not easy to do. And
that's what's created this riff of the people that, it is hard to do. And it keeps me up at night, like knowing that I can't take 50 people on this thing, or like that's just how big golf has gotten. That's how big golf is in my kind of circle right now. So it's just something I'm dealing with where, I feel bad, and it's like you want to bring as many people, but like you said, sometimes it's just impossible. It's really, really hard.
You might have to institute your own lottery within the group. Just start drawing names out of the hat, dude. If it's like, it's up to God's, it's in God's hands. It's up to the lottery. It's not up to me. But I understand what you guys are saying. It's hard.
And Stream Song's going to have such a great, like kind of emotional part in the whole entire thing where, I actually told the guys at Stream Song, I'm like, the last time I went to Stream Song, I was on the driving range and I got a call that my dad was like getting rushed to the hospital because he was going to get heart surgery, and he was going to get all these things that were happening. He went in for a stent, and it turned into, obviously everyone that listens to the show knows the whole entire history. Valve replacement, the whole deal, triple bypass, like holy smokes. And I was standing on the driving range before we'd even played a round. Francis was there, Trent was there, everyone was hugging me. I was crying. I'm like, I gotta go home. They're like, it's going to take 2 days for him to have the surgery. Like, he can come back later on. So I ended up staying there. But I told the Stream Song guys, I'm like, what a full circle kind of like, defeating this sad, agonizing memory, bringing my dad back to that driving range, golfing with him, like how we've overcome this and how, he's doing better and all of this stuff. Like, to me, that's so cool. So I'm really looking forward to November, bringing him to Stream Song, showing him the facilities and all that. Like, that's really why I do all this stuff. All the other stuff that I'm dealing with, all the stress about freaking booking out a golf trip with all my buddies. Like, that's like, I can't believe I'm dealing with all that, because like, it's fucking crazy. Last night I was pacing in my house. I'm like, God, this guy wants to come on this. I can't fit him. But yeah, no, I'm very, very excited. And just golf has turned into such a big part of just not only like my career here, but just it consumes my life now. It's, it's the trips, it's the memories, like everything's built around golf now. It really is. Yep. And I think that's the coolest thing about this game, is that we're going to bring people from all walks of life, different families, different age groups, and a 29-year-old in fucking Brendan Jones, however old Brendan Jones. Brendan's probably 32.
He's your age. Yeah.
So like our age, 32 to 81 years old, is all going to be competing on a golf course. You know, like that's the coolest thing of all time. And having drinks and having dinner. I love it. I absolutely love it. Sucks for the guys that aren't getting invited, you know?
It is specific though. Like there's like golf is the one, like there's no tennis trips, right? Like not to my knowledge, there's no bowling trips. Like it's such a popular sport that it's gotten so popular that like you can't even book trips that you want to go on. So we all just happen to love the sport, and it's helped us obviously. Everything's gotten bigger, merch, podcast videos, and all that. But like it is hard to get spots because it's such a popular sport. If we loved something that was less popular, we would have it'd be an easier way to like book trips, I guess.
Well, I also say like golf courses take up, and this could be a positive or negative depending on which side of the aisle you fall, but like golf courses take up some of the best land on this earth and like the best views. So you want to talk about traveling. When you go to California and you go down 17-mile drive, you're just like, that's a trip to most people, is just getting to that part of the country in Monterey Peninsula and driving down that road and just like making those stops and seeing the waves crash against the road. Like Pebble Beach and Cypress and all these golf courses like have a better view than that road. I mean, that road goes on the inside of that. You know what I mean? Like you go to the 6th and 7th and 8th hole of Pebble Beach. That's as good as it gets in America.
When you're playing 9 and 10 at Pebble Beach, if you look on the beach, there's people 100 feet from you having the greatest vacation of their lives.
Yeah.
On that beach, there's dogs running, they're walking, they're letting the water hit their toes. Like, and you're just, the golf course is right next to that. It's one of the greatest views on the planet.
Like I've seen pictures. I've never been up to Cabot, but like those Cabot Cliffs, like some of those tee boxes, like you don't get that view in all of Canada except for that tee box on that golf course. Like that's kind of what I mean, where it's like it's not just about the traveling with your buddies. It's like it's more also the destination it takes you to. It's like you can't. It's indescribable. Even in Florida, Stream Song, like Florida, it's kind of a boring looking state, especially in the middle of it, right? Like if you're not on the coast, you're like, what? It's all just kind of flat and it's farmland. You're not on a beach, and then all of a sudden you get to Stream Song, and like the way that it looks, it's like the most beautiful part of Florida. It's crazy. You can't believe a place like that exists with all these sand pits and all these dunes. You're like, I can't believe a place like this. What am I looking at?
So Pebble Beach could charge people just to walk. Like if it were just a walk, like you're going to pay $100 to walk, people would do it.
And that's what people do. I mean, people go on vacations and just hiking is just walking around a cool place for like the day. That's what it is. Yeah. So that's true. Instead, you get to play golf. And, you know, I've had this conversation with my buddies a lot where it's like, if it weren't for golf, there are dozens and dozens of destinations around this world that I would have never gone to. And it gave me something to do while you're there. Because there are plenty of vacations, you know, that I've been on where you sort of like get to noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You're like, all right, what are we going to do? We're just going to go to a bar and like drink. I guess we'll get lunch again. You want to get another lunch? Like, what do you kind of do? And golf gives you something to do in it. And it wraps all of it up into one. It is like you're seeing the land, you're outside. There is some sort of through line that is like competition throughout, which you probably love, competing with your friends, whether it's a bar game or a video game, or you grew up playing sports against each other, or whatever it is. And so, yeah, the golf trips are just, and then the best part of all of it is like the people everywhere, you know, like Frankie, when you guys went to Forest Dunes, you know, like I'm sure walking in there and being like, holy shit, it's been 3 years. We've texted, we've DM'd occasionally because we started following each other, but like seeing these people that you sat at the bar at the Bootlegger with 3 years ago and being like, what's going on? And having friends in like Northern Michigan is crazy. Every year when I go back to the Uncle Tony Invitational, and there's Michael Chupka and my guy Odie, who's always caddies for us out at Bandon, and you're like, dude, what's up, guys? And you're like seeing these people around the world that you got to meet that you would have never, ever met is fucking awesome. And so like all those things, I just, you know, I know like my buddy Matt Janella, who we all saw again last week, he talks about this all the time, but it's like, I just think the world would be a way better place if everybody played golf. Like, I really do.
It's true. And we're very, very fortunate for, you know, picking up the sport, and obviously the position that we're in the sport, be able to do all this stuff. And I guess like the more we do it and the older I get and the more I become in charge of like trips like this and like take initiative and stuff, it's just really fun to be able to see everything this game has to offer. It really is great. I mean, we're going to Ireland this year as a group, all of us. Like that's going to be one of the best experiences of our lives. Like going to Ireland, a place that is so foreign to us, and just playing golf kind of over there, and basically where it started. We went to Scotland already. Like these are just memories that we wouldn't have gotten had it not been for the game. So not to get all nostalgic about the sport of golf, but yeah, it's just really been on my mind. So absolutely love it.
All right, quick transition. Everybody make sure on our YouTube page, first of all, watching the podcast on YouTube. A lot of people, I know many more people have started to do that, which we very much appreciate. Just a little reminder to a lot of people out there, if you're listening right now somewhere, you also have the option. Ryan Richson here puts a ton of effort into the video version of the podcast. He does an incredible job just with like the lineup graphic on the side, with clips and with visuals throughout the show, with showing us on the grid. And then if somebody's in the middle of a rant or some bullshit that one of us is saying, they become the center popped up guy on the screen. It's just a very good visual experience. So reminder to go check us out, watch the podcast on YouTube if you have the option, because it is an even better experience than listening. And then second is make sure you check out Chaz versus Frankie and Trent, which is our latest YouTube video on our full channel. Chaz is the man. He obviously, I think a lot of people kind of knew about Chaz. He was around. He does a bunch of videos with hole-in-one trick shots. He does all kinds of cool stuff. Internet Invitational, he became a massive star for obvious reasons. He's competitive. He's got a hilarious personality. He's a little guy, which makes he steps up and you're like, holy shit, which was obviously the hilarious clip from Santino and Rick Shields. And then he fucking stripes the ball and was dominating people throughout the entire thing. He's back on the channel playing against you two. And, you know, I've heard some phenomenal things about this match. I think people are going to love watching the finale of this.
It's an absolute dogfight, man. I mean, this guy, he just keeps bringing it. He's a monster on the golf course. Regardless of his size, he is an absolute weapon monster on the golf course. He doesn't miss. There are actually a couple of shots that I hit that he hit that were stunning. Like I had never seen him miss a fairway. He missed a fairway in this video, which is kind of a breaking news. Like that should be a breaking news segment that Chaz missed a fairway. He's that good. He plays from his adaptive tees against us, and we were a scramble. So Trent and I, probably not the best team in the YouTube golf circuit. We had a lot to kind of battle against with this guy. I mean, he really doesn't make many mistakes. So it's a great video. I hope everyone goes and gives it a watch and goes and subscribes to all of Chazzy's stuff. I mean, he's coming out with some great stuff. He's signing deals now. I mean, he's getting sponsors. He's a DK guy. He's a DraftKings guy coming up. You know, he's got apparel sponsors. He's got club sponsors now. I mean, the guy is really making things happen. He does a Rolex series for like where they just give him a Rolex and he plays a match against people. I'm like, Chaz, you're like, I know, and Riggs alluded to it, like that things were going well for him prior, but like things are really going well for Chaz now. Like Chaz is a star, and for good reason, and he's very good on camera, and he's just got a great personality. So couldn't be happier for Chaz. Go watch it. Leave a comment, as always. We said this in the last show, but leave a comment for Chaz. Write your favorite part of the video, whatever it might be. Just do the boys a solid and get some action on that thing and let it kind of rip, because more eyeballs need to be on Chaz.
On the first hole of that match that we played that just went live, he challenges me to a 20-yard race.
That's right.
That we eventually settled during the match. So if you want to see, maybe you're not a golf guy, maybe you are, but if you want to see a race between me and Chaz and see who wins, you should watch that video.
Let's not get it twisted either. The guy came up to us at the PGA show and was like, I would love to play you too. I would absolutely beat you. So like we had to take that. And then he went up to Trent before we hit a golf ball and he goes, I would absolutely beat you in a race. Like, who the fuck is this guy?
He's a challenger. He's a guy who loves to challenge people. And you know, we had a really good time. He's an awesome guy.
I believe he's also like the #1 ranked adaptive golfer in the world.
I think he might be.
His status.
That's actually a great point. We should tell Brennan about that. I don't know if that should be in the title. I think he might be #1.
Dude, Chaz also gave me I have an incredibly cool adaptive open, like 1-of-1 coin from Chaz, because in a very random twist of fate, back when it was probably 3 or 4 years ago now, but the Adaptive Opens was launched by the USGA, and they hosted the first 2 iterations of it in Pinehurst. which was really cool. It was brand new at the time. And my brother and I were like, dude, look at this new event. We were like, let's find somebody participating in the Adaptive Open and just give them the house for the week. That seems like a no-brainer. Year 2 of that, the person that we selected like randomly was Chaz. So Chaz, before I ever knew Chaz, before I really saw any of his content, he stayed at the cottage in Pinehurst for the entire week during the Adaptive Open. And then when I saw him at the Internet Invitational, he came up to me and said, "Hey, brother, do you remember me?" And I was like, "Oh my God, you stayed at my house." And he was like, "Yep." And he was like, "I've got this coin for you. I want you to have this as a thank you." And I still have that coin in my golf bag.
All class, man. All class. What year would that have been?
I've known Chaz for like months at this point. I never heard that story. That's insane.
Isn't that insane? I wonder what year that was. Let me text Chaz right now.
I didn't know that story either.
What year was that you stayed at the Pinehurst house? Yeah, isn't that nuts? Oh yeah, he's the man. I'll find out what year that was. It's probably 3 years ago or something like that.
He's also just a great personality. Like, he's obviously, an incredible golfer, but it's the personality, and that's what happens at the Internet Invitational, is like who you are shines through, and he's just an entertaining dude. Like, as soon as we got to the golf course for this video, he was going. It was awesome.
I love he challenged you to a race. All right. Make sure you check that out on YouTube. That full video is out now. We'll make sure Brendan knows too that if he's not number one, we'll just call him the number one ranked golfer and adaptive golfer in the world. Speaking of golf, we talked about golf trips, golf doing well, whatever. Just a little follow up from the WM Phoenix Open. CBS reported the highest viewership from the tournament final round in 7 years. It was up 32%, the final round viewership from last year, so year over year. It peaked at about 5 million viewers. The average was 3.78 million viewers. So CBS, who has done, by the way, a great job in sort of evolving over the last 3 or 4 years. We've had Colt Knost on this show a bunch. He's a great friend of the program. He's a really good buddy of mine out here in Scottsdale. Adding Colt Knost and then promoting him this year up into the tower. Really improving a lot of their graphics over the last couple of years and a lot of like the way that you consume golf on TV. There's been a lot of bitching in the time that we've done this podcast for the last decade about golf on television. When you get Trevor Immelman that they've added and really kind of brought him in as the lead analyst, that it just feels so natural now at this point, him sitting up there with Jim Nantz. So CBS is invested a lot and invested properly, I would say, in the product. They said last year they released all the stats about how much of an up year they had last year. To see the WM Phoenix Open come out with huge ratings for them, just very nice to see.
Those numbers shocked me. Those numbers absolutely shocked me. Also, sorry if anyone sees me on my phone on the YouTube thing, but have someone watching Frankie. I said this earlier in the week, but like, wife went back to work. I just heard glass break downstairs, so it's like I have to text like everything I write down there. Those numbers shocked me. I mean, especially with the Super Bowl and everything you said, like, shocked me in the sense that I just didn't think that many eyeballs would be on a tournament this early in the year. Like, usually I would think that like big numbers like that would have to be as things kind of build and momentum build and stories build, but with everything that ended up happening, Scottie obviously making the run and big names, international names, Hideki Matsuyama, all that stuff being in the mix. Just great to see for the game of golf, man. I mean, you got that, and then you've got Liv, not to always make the comparison, but Liv averaged 28,000 viewers.
Okay. I saw that.
Their first 4 rounds. So
a little bit different.
28,000. I mean, dude,
listen, it's a smaller number if we're comparing the two numbers.
I did enjoy that some of the Liv accounts were not posting the number. They were just posting that Liv viewership was up like 25% from last year. That's what they were posting.
It is tough, and I don't mean to compare it every time either, but every time a good ratings number comes out for a PGA Tour event, that's a W. And it's going to continue, and I don't know, 28,000. Boy, I didn't actually see that number. That just took my breath away. So that's an unfortunate number for the Live Golf League, but I don't know what the plan is going forward. But big number for Waste Management.
They have more data. Like, there's something like if you pull up the tweet, I forgot who put it up, but there was like a new data point to pull out for Live viewership as well now. Like, it was like it basically made a point to say like we're able to see even more people that are accessing, this channel, and that number was 28,000, I think it was.
Jesus,
like to make a point to be like, oh, we have more data now, so it should be double, triple. Like it's not just, what was that thing called? What's that thing called that's like in the TVs?
I can't think of it.
Nielsen, baby.
Yeah, they're going away.
I never known
how
that works. Chazzy just said July 2023, and then he sent a picture. He goes, "That's the year I made my first hole-in-one too." And it's a picture of him on Pinehurst number 3, standing next to the pin with his first ever ace.
No
Look
way.
at this.
Legend. Absolute legend.
What an absolute stud. Look at Chazzy.
There he is.
That's unbelievable. The flag is.
I'll send that to you, Ryan Rich.
Now wait a minute.
What?
Yeah, because
is that a smaller flag?
Yeah, Pinehurst number 3 is like a really short course, so they literally do the tiny flags, which makes that picture even better.
Unreal.
Because you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, like, right.
Of course I get what you're saying. I got eyes.
Because that was like deceiving. Because if that's a regular flag, like, holy
you're
shit.
like, is Chaz messing with us?
Right.
He would too. He's got that sense of humor.
What a hole-in-one for him to get it on then. Like, it's a Chaz-sized flag. Like that, everything just came up Chaz.
Yep, that's on the second hole, Pinehurst number 3.
He did say that during the round. He's like, if that was his first one, he's gotten a bunch since then. He was saying.
Oh, yeah. Chaz also does this thing. He said that when he plays with either Josh Kelly or any of the guys that he does content with, that like, because there was one conversation around a gimme, and I was like, wow, like that's within that's beyond a Chaz right there. And he said that he'll lay down, and if it's within his body length, it's usually a gimme for himself.
It's good.
He's the best.
The best.
Because he's automatic from like 3.5 feet, 4 feet. Automatic.
Oh, dude, jams in the back of the hole. Real pace on those things.
Jams, not jellies. Absolutely rips the ball into the back of the freaking cup. And like he lives and dies by it though. Like he'll have some of the most severe rim outs you've ever seen in your entire life. But man, is it good when it hits the back of that freaking cup and bounces in.
We've teamed up with Adidas and Adidas Golf for many, many things. In particular, the shoes, the Sambas from the People's Open. There are still some available at adidasgolf.com/4playpod and barstoolsports.com. And they're just great. They've done a great job. Logo, cool, Samba, iconic, all of that. And then you can also in these links check out, especially at the adidas.com/4playpod, you can check out a bunch of our favorites from Adidas Golf. We're going to be rolling out new stuff this year. I got a new shipment coming in that Alex just told me about that I'm really fired up about. The originals. I think I'm going to make a nice little, can I pull off the new Adidas Originals line TikTok style video that I'm going to put out pretty soon. I've been working on, but you got to love the 3 stripes, Trent.
Yeah, they've got a ton of good stuff, and it's still kind of surreal to me and to us that we were partners with Adidas because they're just one of the biggest sports brands in the world and of all time. And yeah, they've got great stuff. I mean, the golf stuff is great. I talk about it all the time, but I'm in their sweatpants and their hoodies and their crew necks and their everything leisure. I'm in all the time when we're not out on the golf course. So just go to adidas.com, check it all out. There's something there for everybody. I guarantee you'll look around, you'll find something you want. Adidas, 3 stripes, they're the best.
Incredible golf shoes in general. They got so many options for everyone, a bunch of different styles, a bunch of different color schemes. And then again, they hit you with that combination of that athletic look that you've come to know and love with Adidas, but also very cultural. So many different options, styles. You could be wearing Adidas Golf and have a completely different type of style. If you are Trent Ryan, then if you are myself, then if you are Frankie or Ryan Richardson or Brendan Jones or anybody, even, I mean, especially Jared, our guy Jared. What kind of outfits and Adidas is he going to be rocking over the next year? I can't wait to see. No offense to Kyle Timms, but in terms of, style, if we're talking about somebody, we're talking about Jared, we're talking about Adidas. So big thanks to them once again. You can check out the People's Shoe and a bunch of good stuff at adidas.com/4playpod. Charlie Woods, 17 years old, commits to Florida State University. He announced his commitment Tuesday afternoon. He will join Miles Russell, who is the #1 player in the American Junior Golf Association rankings as the kind of star-studded class that they're going to have of 2027.
I love it. I think it's a great move. I saw a lot of people were surprised it wasn't Stanford or someone else. Maybe something closer what Tiger did. Obviously, it's Stanford, but Florida State having Miles Russell, I think, is great for Charlie Woods. I think being around the best player, they're going to be very, very competitive. They're going to kind of build off of each other. I mean, obviously Charlie onto Miles more than the other way around because he's the best player in the country, one of them. But I just think this is great for his development. It's great to see that he's going to college and going to experience all that. For a kid that grew up with his dad being Tiger Woods, obviously the best situation ever for a golfer, but also just not a realistic childhood or upbringing. So to be able to go experience college and playing with a team and not being so like singled out and spotlight on you, and like you're just a part of a team with a logo, and it's more about the crest on the front than the name on the back. I think that's going to be great for Charlie Woods. I think it's great for like the rest of his life. I think it's just going to build. This is everything that he needed, I think, instead of like going pro and trying to be on the PGA Tour at the age of 18, 19. This is so much better for him.
Didn't Charlie make like a pretty significant jump? Like I admittedly don't follow his tournaments that closely, but I feel like there was a while there where he was shooting like 86 in these qualifying events. And then he won like a TaylorMade event, and now he's just like one of the best golfers at his age. You mentioned the Limitless pill earlier. It almost felt like Tiger bestowed something upon him where it was like, this is how you make the jump, and then he did, and now he's incredible. You look at some of these leaderboards in the events that he's played, and I still don't know the type of competition that's in these and all that, but like it seems like he's made a pretty big jump the last couple of years.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm looking right now. It says Charlie Woods is ranked 21st in the American Junior Golf Association as of early 2026. I feel like being in the top 25 is pretty damn good. Right.
Unbelievable.
I feel like that's pretty good. Clearly a lot of potential in there. It says he's known for high ball speeds and a very powerful swing for his age. So it feels like that's sort of the direction that you want to go in, and then you can hone in the rest of the game. I was also thinking in terms of the Florida State thing, that's a Brooks Koepka connection. So I wonder if Brooks, I know Brooks said a couple weeks ago his first phone call after getting released from Live was to Tiger Woods. So I wonder, if Tiger and Brooks, if that was a little bit in cahoots there, where Brooks was sort of maybe consulting with him a little bit, being like, hey, man, my experience at Florida State was incredible. I know maybe Tiger was not leaning on. I'm sure he was letting Charlie do whatever. But when Tiger was weighing in, I'm sure he was thinking the closer the better, because let's face it, at this point in Tiger's life, it feels like a lot of his public appearances and appearances in general are following Charlie Woods' golf tournaments. So I think rather than having to fly across the country to the to the Pac-12 country and follow Stanford out there, being in Florida is incredibly, incredibly simple for Tiger to get around and watch and support him and the whole deal. But I wonder if Brooks, is kind of helped at all with that. But yeah, overall, I thought too, we said years ago, some college should just scoop him up because of what it'll do for recruiting and everything else. This does, to kind of Trent's point, this does feel like he earned this on more of a level than it maybe felt like he was going to a couple of years ago.
Yeah, if he's 21st in his age group in the country, like you look at the PGA Tour, the 21st ranked player is Cameron Young. And then you got Ludwig Oberg at 20, Matt Fitzpatrick, 23. You got big names amongst their peers that have tons of potential to win any week, is my point, right? So like if he's in that top 25, this kid has turned into something real. That's not easy to accomplish. That's putting together a ton of good rounds of golf and really rounding out your game. Now I don't know if that's the same comparable. Like maybe there's people in other different rankings that aren't in that top 21. Maybe he's 21 in a certain ranking. You don't know like where it kind of falls, but listen, he's finding himself in top 25s of lists, which is definitely a good spot. He's on Florida State. I don't think this is like a Bronny James to the Lakers type of move where they're just doing it for, for publicity. Maybe they are, but I have faith that Charlie Woods is earning his spot and is going to be a pretty special golfer. I really think so.
I agree.
Yeah, he's led his high school team into a state title with a 4 under 68 in the final round. He won the AJGA Team TaylorMade Invitational with a 15 under 201 total. I believe Miles Russell was in that field, if I recall. So, again, none of these numbers I don't think are like he's the best player currently, but I think there are signs in there with the old DNA and pedigree coming from the Woods family combination that, like, okay, we might have a little something cooking here.
It's also golf. That's why I brought out the pros, like who's 21st. Like when you're 21st, when you're 30th, when you're 40th, you're still when it's an individual sport. So to be anywhere in the top 100 is outrageous, right? Like no matter what age group, no matter what division you're in, to be in that pack is so hard. Anyone in that pack can win on any given day. To be number one is obviously phenomenal, but yeah, no, it's surprising to me that he has made that jump, and almost like quietly, like we haven't really been getting as many updates as we thought we would, and he's just quietly gotten better. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, there's plenty of like Keegan stories about people playing with Keegan in college, early college years and stuff, where he was just middle of the pack. There's like the clip from Bryson from a couple months ago talking about Scottie and him being like, well, he's clearly gotten way better than when I was playing against him because he was 100%. Nowhere near that when we were playing together in juniors or whatever it might have been. So yeah, just being near there, I think, is good enough for now, and we'll see. But a nice commitment from Charlie Woods on that front. Another thing I saw real quickly, and then I believe we're going to throw it to Neal Shipley, is Anthony Kim taking Patrick Reed's spot on the Fore Aces for Live Golf. So just a month or so ago, AK battled through the Live version of Q School to keep his card, to earn his card. It was really first time in these last couple years experience where, he earned his keep out there. He had been brought back from the golf dead. It was, kind of a publicity stunt. We're going to give AK a spot. He was playing as like an independent non-team member for years out there on Live. He didn't have great results, but he kept kind of saying he's grinding, he's working, he's starting to see improvement, he's starting to see signs of life. He finished in the top 3 to stay and to keep his status on Live. Now he's part of a franchise, gentlemen. He's part of the Fore Aces.
Good for Anthony Kim. That's great. Getting picked up. Major franchise. Things are looking good. I mean, yeah, it's a nice little comeback here by Anthony Kim. Great to see. We saw him out in California when we went to that the Grand Del Mar. Trent and I got our eyes on Anthony Kim.
Yep.
It looked like he was grinding. He has family out there, and then started playing better after that. So, yeah, nice to see Anthony Kim back in the mix. Good to see him on a team, and I hope the best for them in the Fore Aces. There's also lots of formidable guy in Patrick Reed. So, I mean, Patrick Reed's the hottest golfer on the planet. So losing him and swapping him in for Anthony Kim, it's not the best GMing I've ever seen, but it's a plug and place type of move.
Anthony Kim has also jumped into the YouTube world. I've been seeing. I follow him on Instagram now. Yeah, I started a YouTube channel. I think he might have. Did he play Dalkey, or I saw Dalkey promoting it? I don't know if they ended up playing each other, but he's definitely getting into that world. Yeah,
wow. I saw that as well. I think he's
Dalkey,
getting into the YouTube
Dalkey
world.
Just keeps beating Grant Horvat just keeps beating Dalkey.
Is that right?
Keeps beating him.
It's insane.
Keeps beating him.
He can't beat him. Dalkey cannot beat Grant Horvat, which is unbelievable when you think about how good Brad Dalkey is. I guess Grant's just getting that much better. That's really hard to do. That guy is the greatest golfer I've ever seen.
Dalkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the first match. I watched every part of their first match that they did, where Dalkey just kind of like blew it on the last hole, and it was playing hard that day. It was chilly and windy, and they both both shot around even or whatever it was. But I didn't see the rematch, and I haven't seen the most recent one either. But that's got to be killing Dalkey, because he was after the Invitational. There was the Wesley Bryan clip coming out of him being like, I think he could be a top 5 player in the world on any given day. And people were, making all kinds of those comments, and Horvat just beating him is I'm sure driving Dalkey fucking insane.
We haven't really touched on the West. I know we got to get to Neal Shipley. I don't know if he's on right now, but if you want to talk on the Wesley Bryan front real quick, I know that everyone's been doing the free Wesley, talk about the Brooks stuff in terms of the fact that Wesley's not allowed back. He's still banned. His wife sent a letter. I don't know if you guys saw that, and they responded with something pretty harsh, being like, you're still banned, doesn't matter.
And this is it's from when he participated in the Live Duels,
Yes.
and they indefinitely banned Wesley Bryan from the PGA Tour.
Tried to play in the Bermuda, right? And then they just banned him.
No, I've seen all that stuff all over the place. My question would be, I wonder what type of like punishment would Wes be willing to pay, right? So like Brooks didn't just walk back onto the PGA Tour. He's paying millions and millions and millions of dollars to get back onto the PGA Tour. So like I totally understand the argument of like, you know, Brooks went over there, he played on 4 years of tournaments, he took $100 million payday. Wesley just went and played like a couple 9-hole scrambles. So I agree that the two aren't the same. I wonder what type of like punishment he would be willing to accept to return to the PGA Tour.
It's a good point. There'd have to be something.
Right.
Because the PGA Tour just can't have an open door policy across the board. As much as he is a YouTube golfer, he still had his PGA Tour. He was a PGA Tour member, was he not?
Yeah. And, you know, and look, like if you are running the PGA Tour and you are facing an existential threat, which they were, and they still are to some degree, and then one of your members goes and actively promotes the tour that is the existential threat to what you're doing, I think everybody would find it pretty reasonable for you on your tour to be like, nope, we can't have that. We got to set some sort of precedent so that we can't just have people going out free willy-nilly promoting our competitor that's trying to put us out of business and steal all of our players. And so I get that there was some version of a punishment. I get that it's not the same level of like betrayal that a lot of the other players face. So I wonder what that like equal and opposite reaction type offering could be from the PGA Tour. It looks like right now it's nothing, which is kind of crazy.
That sucks.
Crazy. I think that's where everybody agrees.
It seems like he's doing it the right way, where he's been very public saying like, not necessarily that he messed up, but like he wants to be back in good graces with them. I mean, that's very clear. And the YouTube aspect of it, the fact that he did YouTube videos, to me, like PGA Tour did the match PGA Tour versus Live, and they had their members play against Live members, which was like basically saying like, we are allowing this coexistence of your league, our league, we're going to play against each other. Why? Maybe just the imaging and the wording of Wesley going and playing in the Live duels wasn't like, our PGA Tour guys going to go play in their YouTube video. Maybe if they would have said that, then it would have been allowed. But because he was kind of a part of their entity for those couple of videos, that's maybe why he's getting the slap on the wrist. So I don't know. I've been very interested in it. I hope that they can resolve it, because it's just making the PGA Tour look a little bit petty and like ridiculous that you can't just let. I mean, he's great for YouTube golf. At the end of the day, like, why are we not letting him be involved? Like, he had to like sneak onto the Waste Management Phoenix Open golf course to caddy for fucking Grant Horvath the other day. They thought he was gonna get tackled. Like, have we gotten to that point? Is this like Roger Goodell, Dave Portnoy level, where Wesley Bryan's like not allowed on premises? Like, this is gonna start getting crazy.
It does seem like they're making an example out of him, but with no recourse, and that's a shitty spot to put somebody.
He brings a lot of eyeballs, so you got to start like, this is a business, man.
And a poor perspective on the fact that he's very, very popular in the world of golf and would drive more eyeballs than most other people in the game. You know, like
totally.
This happened.
For sure.
The suspension happened under Monahan, right? Do I have that right? The timeline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we got roll up. I think, you know, obviously it's continued since roll up has gotten into power, but like something needs to be done where it needs to be fixed, because right now it's a PR negative for the PGA Tour for sure.
Do you think that one like makes it up to roll up? Like, do you think he knows about that?
I would hope so, right? I mean, that's a pretty big public deal. Like, if it doesn't get to roll up, then that management style, I have less faith in than I did before.
One thing that I would say is like, I do feel like the tour and like on the roll up level is so focused on like, they are the professional game. And like, this is YouTube golf. Now I know Wes was like kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, Wesley on both. So it's not no connection, but like we are in the YouTube golf world. We see all of it, pay attention to it. You know, I think the PGA Tour is very much like, we are the professional golf world. This is like what we do. This is what we look at. So I don't know if like, I'm trying to think of like a chief of staff or somebody for roll up being like, I gotta get ballsy here and like put this on his desk, and he might be like, what? Why am
I don't know. I mean, YouTube golf is so big now. Turning a blind eye to a story like that feels like an old school approach where you're like, no, we're professional golf. We don't even think or talk about YouTube golf, when that it's not true, because they have creator classics and they have these events where clearly those worlds are becoming more merged than they ever have been. So to just kind of, we're assuming this, but to turn a blind eye to that, I think would be a mistake. And I don't know if that's the reality.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, it's just good for the game to get him involved and just like put this all behind us. And it's that era of the PGA Tour should be like, we should just be moving forward where it's like, you're victorious. And like, this is the premier tour, all the other stuff. Let's just figure out how to get all these guys that want to play back. I'm like that across the board. Patrick Reed, whoever wants to come back, get them back onto this tour, get Wesley Bryan approved. Like, this is it. That's how you kill the other thing. And I know that they're going to have some sort of repercussions for breaking the rules and re-entering, but let's figure it out. Let's do it. And I'll turn a blind eye to the fact, we got a bunch of messages at the Wesley Bryan Bros where the Bryan Bros were in a Discord saying that we were being mean at the Internet Invitational and that we were like looking for blood and that we conspired against Luke Kwan to make him sleep in and that we never should have done that. I'm going to turn a blind eye to that, and I'm going to say free Wesley. I think they're great guys. I think they're great for the game of golf, even though they were talking immense poop about us in their Discord channels that people were saying. I know they're like, I'm just going to turn a blind eye to it. And I'm also going to say free Wesley. I'm joining the movement. I think he should be back.
Yeah, I think the tour would be better with him for sure. I think another element that he doesn't have that Brooks Koepka has is like him not being really like a part of LIV, clearly, is also the tour loses that element of like another death blow to LIV by bringing him back. It doesn't affect LIV in any way.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas like when they fucking get Patrick Reed, when they get Brooks Koepka, those are like blows to LIV where I could see them sort of being like, yeah, he's kind of in limbo and it doesn't really like hurt LIV if we take him. And, so I think that's another, like, when I look at it all, I get everyone's like, free Wesley and like, just this is great. Whereas like, if you look at it from the business perspective, I can see how the tour's not as jumping on the opportunity as they were with Brooks. Having said all of that, it would still just be better for the tour, clearly, eyeballs wise, all of it, if he was back. I just wonder if they can also like let him back without some kind of punishment, and would Wesley be willing to pay some sort of punishment I think there's more to that story, and I'm curious about all those details.
Yeah.
Neal Shipley is here.
Neal Shipley is here, baby. Speaking of the PGA Tour.
Amazing. What a transition. Look at the Waffle House shirt, man. That's awesome, dude.
How are we doing, Boyd?
Great.
Fantastic,
How are you,
man?
Neal
Thanks
Shipley?
for joining us.
Good. Sorry I'm a little late.
No, you're not late. You're fine. We were just chopping it up about God knows what. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
How you doing? Where y'all recording right away? We're just going to kind of jump right into it.
Totally good. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, just hanging out here in Florida and enjoying some warm weather while the boys freeze to death in Pebble right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw the wind and I feel like this time of year is always really dicey out there for them at Pebble. I see a lot of like winter caps and one year it was like hailing on the green, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if you could pick like Monterey and Carmel. It's like maybe you guys have been, I'm sure, and it's maybe one of the most beautiful places on earth. But of all the months, February is probably the 12th month I would pick to go there. It is.
Frankie, what month did you take your dad when you were like, we got to go to Monterey, you got to see
August.
beautiful Pebble Beach? That was August, and then it was just cloudy the whole time.
We in the beginning of the show, actually, we were just talking about how amazing Pebble Beach is. We do a yearly trip there every March, and it is dicey in terms of the weather. Like you'll wake up for 7:15 tee time. You cannot believe that's how you're experiencing Pebble Beach. It's like freezing cold, windy rain. But I took my dad as a surprise in August to Pebble, and we couldn't see a single hole. The fog, so like that fog that rolls in, dude. Like it was actually kind of for me that I had played it before, so it was like kind of a cool experience where every hole felt like you were playing in the heavens, where actually the fog was below like the elevated greens, and it was like all you could see was the hole that you were on. It was bizarre. But like we stood up on the 7th hole, and I had to show him a picture of what behind the green usually looks like. Like he couldn't Yeah,
Couldn't see it. Oh
couldn't
my
see it.
gosh,
It was
yeah.
just a white wall. It was fucking
Hold up a
nuts.
picture.
So, yeah, bad weather out there
Um,
for sure.
All right, Neil, we got to talk about TGL, my friend. We've been down to TGL a few different times, filmed a great video with Sahith Thagala down there. We have said on the show many times that when you walk into that arena, it really is like any other experience in golf. It doesn't feel like golf. It feels like you're at like one of these video game, e-game tournaments or something like that. You obviously had the ace. We're going to get into the ace, but I want to start and kind of crescendo with the ace. I want to talk about it was your first debut night in TGL. What is the debut experience like? Do you go in there early in practice? Were you trying to learn the ropes? Were you working with your guys like team helper to figure out the logistics? What's that like intro like?
Yeah, luckily, the TGL crew, they kind of plan out to have, hey, I have a match we need a sub or two. So they had a group of us pros that live down here come and play like a practice matches maybe in January. So I'd already kind of played a little bit, and then the day we fly in Sunday night, and on Monday morning they have open practice for us from like 10 to 1 o'clock. We can come in and get some work in, and kind of see what holes we're going to be playing, and talk to our team manager about, hey, this is where we want to be aiming on these goals and whatnot. And it's nice. You kind of get comfortable, but then I don't think that prepares you for hitting that first tee shot in front of all those fans in the stadium, and live on ESPN when you're really the only show in town. Not a lot else going on a Monday evening. So it was it was a really nerve-wracking, but it was like a ton of fun and a really cool experience. Definitely super fun. They do a great job.
How'd you feel going in with your teammates? Is there like a group text? Are you guys getting hyped up about strategy? Like, how's that work?
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit on the flight over about some strategy. Me and Minwoo, Luke was already here in Florida, and when we got to practice and talk through a couple of things we wanted to do. But yeah, it was fun. We were obviously a really young team. Min is 27, Luke's a little bit younger than me, and I'm 25. So we had a lot of like young energy, a lot of good vibes, and I think too, like all of us love competing. And so it was just like we had a lot of fun doing that, and it's cool rooting for your teammates. Like when I played with Luke in college, like we were always trying to beat each other's brains in, and it was pretty cool that we were teaming up and rooting for each other. And I think Luke mentioned it during the broadcast or afterwards, but it's like almost more nerve-wracking watching your teammate hit than it is like you hitting yourself, because you have no control over it. You want to hit a great shot, but you're just kind of there watching and kind of waiting. It was pretty nerve-wracking. It's totally cool to be rooting for those boys and being able to vibe off each other.
I want to get into the hole one now, so I want you to start early because there was a great moment even before you kind of went to the tee. But you wrap up on the hole before, and then you're walking back over to the screen and gearing up. Talk about everything that kind of happened from that moment through the big moment.
Yeah. Well, I think I got to roll back to practice where I hit that shot in practice and had missed the green and hit the penalty hazard like 6 or 7 times. Like I hit the worst shots in practice. I mean, I even rolled the sod over one, and I'm like, this is shit. So I was a little nervous for it. But I knew I was gonna have 2 par threes, and I told the boys, yeah, if I make an ace, like I'm gonna take my shirt off, go chug a beer or whatever. And we're walking back after the hole, and Luke's like, yeah, please give me an ace, like give me an ace. And I was like joking, like, yeah, let's do it. And then, we actually hoop it, and it was like just bananas, just chaos.
Dude, it was insane. So the one of the first takeaways is like, is a simulator ace going to count? Trent right here on our screen has a simulator ace himself. I'm not sure how you feel about it, Mr. Trent Ryan.
Well, I mean, mine took 850 swings. Like I had to swing all night to get my hole in. I will say my dad, he got a hole in one on a simulator, and then he eventually got one on a real golf course, but he counted it as a hole in one. They put a plaque up at the golf course where he did it. It was a whole thing. So I think yes, especially at TGL, there's real stakes. I mean, it's golf. You're still hitting onto, a green and you're doing I know you're hitting into a screen, but I think I would count it if I were you, Neal. What do you
does
think?
Neal feel? How do you feel?
I'm definitely counting it, and it's more because of the stakes that it was done in. If I did that, like I'm pretty sure I've had a hole in one on a simulator before. I mean, I'm not really sure, but I feel like if it's a sim, like your local garage sim, and it's just you, and you're making it on your own. I think it's a little different than going out and doing it live in front of a few thousand people, and then also on ESPN,
Yep.
on national TV. Like that's
Right.
I think that makes it, legitimizes it a little bit more. And for me, the app to do it in that atmosphere, I think it was so cool. I mean, I bought beers for the folks in the media center afterwards, so I
There you
certainly
go.
treated it as a real ace.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. We always say that an ace has to come with the story, and a lot of the times, if it's one of those quirky stories where it's like I did it on a par 3 course, like I got one at the Cradle at Pinehurst, and you're like,
I have one
all
there too.
right, it was a 75-yard shot off a mat into like a bowl green. Like I have to like say all that stuff, TGL, it's just that's such a popular hole. I mean, that's going to be like such a memorable hole in one for you. The people that are saying that that's not a real thing, it's like outrageous. Like that's like as real as it gets. Like everyone in the golf world knows about it. Like of course
Yeah,
it's a real hole in one.
I think it's funny too because the comments on the like ESPN and the TCL posts, it's literally just a bunch of old dudes just like arguing about like is it a real hole in one or not. Like people are going at each other's throats. It's kind of hilarious, and in reality, it's not that big of a deal to us.
No.
Like, is it a hole in one or not? But it's kind of funny how
It's a
that's
big deal to us.
exactly what
Okay.
and that's what everyone went to. Everyone jumped on it right away. Like, it's kind of funny.
You're also hitting off real grass, which is not any other simulator
True.
in the world.
Yeah, yeah, that is
True.
true. And you are able to chunk it out of
Oh
that stuff.
yeah.
Like it's very it's
I
like
did that.
some wet Bermuda. It's not not firm. It's pretty tough sometimes.
You mentioned like playing against Luke in college, and we had just before you hopped on here, we got done talking about Charlie Woods heading to Florida State. I'm sure you saw that news. And as a college golfer yourself, a past college golfer yourself, like, could you give us any insight on do you like that move for him to go to Florida State? And also, like, what is he going to expect? A big name like that. I don't know that really anyone's ever come across like a star before he gets to college like that, just his name and obviously his dad and the whole aura around him. But like, what are you to expect from Charlie Woods at Florida State? You playing at Ohio State, you played some really big collegiate golf. Like, can you give us any insight on what he should expect?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, totally. I think, I mean, knowing Charlie a little bit, and having the opportunity to interact with him a few times, I think he's really well adjusted. I think he's gonna be able to thrive in that environment, in the team environment, and he loves competing. So I think he's gonna love college golf for that. But that's gonna be, if I was him, it's just gonna be a tough college experience a little bit, going to class, and I think that's gonna be a little bit different. But I think it's something that at this point he's used to it. He's used to having that different type of environment. I mean, I don't think there's any junior golfer in the world that's had it tougher than him, from that standpoint. So I think, he's probably I think he's gonna really thrive there. They have a great facility, they got great coaches, and I know that they know how to handle some great players. I think that's the thing about going to a really top tier Division I program is all these coaches have seen some really great players roll through, and they know how to handle all different types of personalities and how to get the best out of them. And I think that Florida State is certainly one of those programs, and they have a great coaching staff that's going to be able to help Charlie thrive. And I think it's a great decision for him. I'm super excited, and but man, I tell you what, I wouldn't want to trade shoes with him. He's got it tough for an 18 or 17 or 18-year-old kid. It's a lot of
Yeah,
attention, and
17.
I know if
The
I was,
expectations, man. Like,
yeah, it's tough. I
we've been
mean, when
talking
I
about it
was,
since he was 13 years old about how he's
yeah,
going to win majors. Like you're in that world of how hard it is to get there. Like
yeah,
just because
oh,
your
it's
last name's is Woods does not mean you're going to put the ball in the hole better than other
yeah,
people on the
oh
golf
yeah,
course.
it's hard, and there's a lot of guys too that, yeah, you can talk about you could bring out tons of names just from my collegiate class, or even guys from high school that were like world beaters,
Right.
and they're nowhere to be seen now. I mean, I sucked in high school. I was terrible. I got to James Madison. I don't know what Coach Forbes saw in me.
What is
To say,
terrible though? I mean, are you just being humble? Like, what's high school golf for Neal Shipley? What's bad?
I mean, well, I wasn't even like the best guy on my high school team.
Wow.
I had another guy,
Insane.
I had another kid that he went to Penn State to play, and he was, maybe I think he was top 100 in our recruiting class. I might have been, 300th or 200th in our recruiting class. I can't remember. Like, I was not very highly ranked. Even I think crack. I think when I transferred into Ohio State, I was right around maybe 800th in the world amateur rankings, or 900th. And so within those 2 years, I went from there, and I think I finished somewhere near 13th or top 20. So like it happens at different paces for different
What
people.
was it,
And
dude? Like, what
Right,
what
like-
was it? Coaching? Like, I know you transferred over to Ohio State. Like, what? Not that it was not good at James Madison, but like, what clicked?
I think I got a little bit more comfortable. Well, I think there's two things. One, the ranking system is really skewed towards top end teams.
Okay.
So if you go to a top end school, it's, you can play okay golf and get ranked a lot higher than you would just playing okay golf at like a JMU. And that aside, I think I got a lot more comfortable in those big spots. I got a lot more comfortable. I think that summer going into Ohio State, I played really well in my state stuff. I think that summer I won my state amateur and maybe the Western Pennsylvania Open, and got a little bit more comfortable there. And then the next summer, I played really well in all these national amateur events, these big, elite amateur series events is what they're called. And I think that got me kind of, used to being, in contention. And, part of golf is learning how to be under that type of pressure and learning how to win. And I think that once I learned how to win and learned how to compete under that type of pressure and on that stage, I started to feel comfortable and thrive in it.
It's incredible in this game how much comfort and confidence feels like it matters. And because in that kind of whole bit talking about the difference, it wasn't like dramatic skill set changes or dramatic ball speed you picked up, or it completely changed the way that you putt, or anything like that. It was like, no, you get comfortable, you get confident, and how much that matters. And I think for us, we're weekend golfers. It's sort of our whole brand. That's what we do. And at every level, I feel like that makes the biggest difference.
100%. I think when you have a lot of confidence in what you're doing in anything, it's you're going to be more successful at the end. And like a lot of those things you mentioned, like, yeah, I improved my ball striking and I improved this, and but it wasn't like I went from being having the chipping yips to being a great chipper, or couldn't hit a fairway to it wasn't like these big crazy jumps. It's at our level in college golf, it's really small things. And from Corn Ferry Tour to PGA Tour, it's really small things. And we're talking about getting, just that, that extra 1 to 2% out of our game is the difference between, being a Corn Ferry guy and being Scottie Scheffler. Like, it's not,
Yeah, it's crazy.
a lot of these guys, it's not too far off. And that makes, guys like Scottie or Sandra, who's been making, his cut streak just ended, but he made like 70 some cuts in a row. Like, that's insane, and to perform at that highest level, because, there's so many guys who are so good now.
Yeah, we saw you kind of walking. You were grinding out in the range at Waste Management. Like, what is it like now that you're on this tour and you're amongst all of the best golfers in the world? Contending to be one of them yourself. Like that jump from where you were playing at Ohio State amongst guys that you were probably better with, once you got to that top 20 rank. Like, you're better than everyone. Like, how has it been adjusting for you being around guys that quote unquote are better than you right now, or like the best in the world? Like, has that been a tough mental kind of jump and like change for your game, where you're like watching guys like Scottie Scheffler warm up to go play in a golf tournament against you? To me, that's like, I can't even comprehend that jump.
Yeah, it's funny, right after college, I played a lot of golf. I think I played like 8 or 9 PGA Tour events that summer. Like, after being William at Masters and US Open, got a bunch of sponsors invites. So I kind of got a good taste of what it's like out there. And so, going back to Corn Ferry Tour, now hopping back up and playing it more. Like I feel like I know what to expect. It is funny though, like, you see these guys and get to hang out with them and talk to them a little bit, and you start to realize, like, man, like Scottie, he puts his pants on just like I do,
Right.
and all that type of cliche stuff. Um, it's I think that's it makes you realize that, like, hey, I can compete with these guys. I mean, I think when I was an amateur, I actually know for a fact I beat Scottie in that U.S. Open, so it's like it's not impossible for me to go out beat him. It's we gotta just gotta play my game and just I think it's important for any young pro just to like be yourself and do you the best. Because especially on the PGA Tour, someone's always gonna hit the ball further than you. Someone's gonna be a better putter. Someone's always better at you at every part of your game. But I think the guys who are really successful, they just do their version of golf the best. And I think that's really key. Like you look at Scott, but he does his, no one else like Scottie Scheffler. And he just does his version of golf, like his Scottie Scheffler golf, the best that he can. I think that's key
What's
to
the
being
best
successful
version
on
of
tour.
Neal Shipley golf? Like when you're playing your best, what are you doing the best, like that you've noticed?
Yeah, I mean, I when I'm playing really good, I drive the golf ball on a string. And I've kind of started off the year a little slow, but you look at my last two tournaments, and I was hitting a ton of fairways, getting a lot of shots off the tee. And then I roll the ball great,
Mhm.
which I haven't been doing. If you look at stats recently, so it's I kind of have this template that I know that I need to get back to. But yeah, it's like if you can drive the ball great, and if I can putt it great. My iron game's more than serviceable enough, or I'm going to shoot a lot of the scores, and my bad rounds are going to be 1 and 2 under instead of a couple over like they have been in the last couple of weeks.
You mentioned like the analytics a little bit. Like how much are you diving deep into that stuff? Like how much are you seeing the stat trends? Like or like for putting, isn't it such a feel thing? Or are you like really diving deep into all the analytics of like why are we dropping and putting and why is the ball not rolling? Like how difficult is that to find the answer, and like what's the balance between just going out there and finding a feel as opposed to like looking at the numbers?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's funny. Like I've only played, I guess 7 rounds of golf on ShotLink, or maybe a little more than that, this season. So it's a really small sample size,
Yeah.
and so you don't go to one tournament, putt really poorly, and say, "Oh my gosh, I need to change everything about my putting."
Right.
Like there's going to be, like, it's going to have waves to it. But I think you can look at a lot of things like in the short term, like, hey, your approach speed. Like I think on a lot of my 10 to 20 footers, my misses are 2.5 or 3 feet by the hole.
Mm.
So when you look at it, that's too fast. You want your misses to be averaging like 1.5 feet by the hole, because that's going to be kind of optimal speed where you make that cut nice and big, and a lot of good putts will start catching the hole and going in. Um, so it's just like I like to look for a couple little things like that, because I've always been a guy that when my speed gets off, my putting kind of gets a little wonky. Um, it's there's a lot of little things like that. And two, I like to break down approach shots into different buckets and look at, hey, we have, I've been hitting it really good from this distance, to my short wedges, but hey, like my 9, 8, 7 iron could be a little bit better. You can look at little things like that. It's nice to have some old data on the PGA Tour to compare it to, so I can kind of see some trends on where my game's headed, or where I'm at right now compared to some of my better golf. And it's nice tools to have, but I think I have a stat guy, and he's the one who's doing a lot of deep diving, and I'm just focusing on playing golf and trying to get a little bit better.
So interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. I was going to ask if you had a guy, but clearly, you do. I want to ask you, you made the cut this last week in Phoenix at the Phoenix Open. What was your favorite part of that entire whole, event, party, the whole deal?
Oh, geez.
You gotta take a drink to think about
Or
it.
least favorite.
Thinking about it. No, I mean, I think that it's the closest on the PGA Tours you can get to like a major type atmosphere, like the amount of people there and the buzz. I think even just the amount of people, like all the action really happens on the back nine with all the grandstands. And even on the front nine, we had tons of people watching us on Friday and Saturday. Um, obviously, I think it's a little unfortunate some of the chaos that happened kind of late to Hideki and in that playoff. But I mean, for the most part, I had a great time. I never really had to step off any shots, and everyone was really good to me. You get a lot of people shouting some crazy things, and you just kind of chuckle about it and have some fun. Like, you can't take yourself too seriously. And um, even with 16, like getting booed, it's pretty funny. Like, I know that like the first round pin. I think Joel Damon mentioned it. Like that first round pin that is out to the right, you miss the green an inch off the green, you're gonna be putting, and you have like a 12-foot putt for birdie, but you're gonna get booed to heck for missing the green. Say I did the same thing on Sunday. I missed it just over the back of the green, had the chip where I'm like licking my chops thinking about making it, and I'd get booed to death. Meanwhile, the guy who hits it like 30 feet short, he kind of gets like a little bit of a clap. And I'm like, yeah, I got a little better looking birdie here, guys. Not sure. But it was that whole being able to play in that type of coliseum is so unique, and I think that's one of the coolest atmospheres you can get in golf for sure.
Do you think you win a lot, more fans by having the Waffle House connection?
I don't know. I mean, they sent me a bunch of merch, and it's a nice T-shirt.
Great
The
tee.
back of this one says "Friends
Really
don't let
good.
friends eat pancakes." It's they got it's funny. And I kind of I'm kind of pretty casual when I'm just laying around the house like I am today a little bit. So I think I'm just a normal dude, and I think that's part of maybe what attracts some people to me is that I kind of feel like you're just everyday normal dude who plays some golf.
That's part of what I was going to ask you. What are you doing with your downtime? What's Neal Shipley doing in between rounds? Because that, for me, like the downtime on tour, I think would drive me crazy. Just like the waiting to go out there, and then after practice, like what are you doing when you're not just grinding out there on the golf course?
Yeah, I think, a lot of that downtime definitely happens on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And, you know, I might fill some of that with, going and stretching or work with my physio on some things. And, maybe, cooking for myself. I do a lot of Airbnbs. I like to go to have houses. So, I think that that's a good way to kind of kill some time and focus on when you focus on cooking for a healthy meal, that's going to take some time and eat up some time. And then you got, plenty of Netflix and HBO and all that to, kind of keep occupied. I think the hardest part is downtime when you're at home. Like I'm
Mm.
down here in Florida right now. I have 2 weeks till my next tournament, and I really want to go practice and I want to get to work, but I know like, I need to give myself a little bit of downtime and some grace to let my body recover and get ready. So I'm ready for this next stretch of golf because when you're on the road for 4 or 5 weeks, you can that fourth and fifth week, you start to get pretty tired pretty quick.
The cooking aspect is so important. We're road dogs ourselves. We're constantly on the road, and like, man, you can just get swept up in just eating shit for. You look
Oh.
back at it and you're like, 2 months had
Ugh.
gone by, and I've been eating shit for 80% of it. Right? Like for us, like restaurants, buttery steaks, like everything's got salt. We're having drinks each night. Obviously, we're not trying to compete for anything. We're the worse we are, the better it is for us. But like, it's just it's
true.
something like if I had to worry about my performance and body while the amount that we traveled, that's a whole nother stress and anxiety in terms of like what to eat, how to stay fit, how to stay like with it mentally and like prepared, and early wake ups, and it's not easy, man. Like the PGA Tour schedule is not for the faint of heart. Like people think it's this freaking glamour. It is glamorous. It's golf for a living. I get it, but it's a freaking grind, man.
Yeah, it is. And to be prepared too to like play against these guys, like you
Oh,
can't just show up. Like you
right.
gotta put the work in when you're at home. And I think too when you're traveling, I mean, PGA Tour is glamorous, but then my experience last year on the Corn Ferry Tour, you're going to some pretty small towns. The food options aren't great, the Airbnb options aren't great. You're going to a lot of Chipotle's, and you start to get tired of your double chicken bowl
Yep.
after a few months.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's it's a grind, but yeah, I think you can do a lot of things to make it a lot better. And just investing in some little things, I think makes life on the road a bit easier.
How do you do with like your best buddies that want to come out and watch you perform? Like I know like even a couple of our friends that we've become friendly with on the PGA Tour, when it's Thursday through Sunday, they won't even really give us a look. It's their time to make life-changing money and try and win professional golf tournaments. We leave tournaments typically Wednesday night because we don't want to be seen around guys like that are like, we don't want to impede on impose on their journey to try and win. Like if you have all your buddies from, call it Ohio State or your hometown, like, and they want to come watch you play at the Waste Management, like how are you dealing with all that? Are you typically a guy that has them house with you and you don't care? Like you're just like one of the boys coming out and having a fun time, or do you like to have your space?
I definitely like to have my own space. Even this Waste Management, we had a house where I had my family, girlfriend, like a whole group. And it was kind of nice where it was a really big house that they were in. And then there was like a little separate casita that had its own kitchen and situation that I was in. So it was nice. And then we splurged and we got a chef for the week. My caddy, his
Ooh.
brother, did a great job. He's a chef out in Santa Monica, and
That's nice.
he took the week off to cook for us, and it was pretty dialed in, and it made life a lot easier. Just kind of no one was fighting about what we're cooking, and I have some dietary restrictions, so he knew that, and I didn't have my mom baking a bunch of crap for us. So although I love her baked goods and food, so it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Safe. Yeah.
But yeah, I think like having your own space is huge. And like when I have buddies out for tournaments, a lot of times it's, hey, I got you for tickets, go have a good time. I might talk with you a little bit after the round. But man, I'm gonna go when I finish up, I'm gonna go do my recovery stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go recuperate and get ready for the next day. Because when you start just entertaining a lot of people, if that's an every week thing, it's just another stressor that is builds and builds week over
Totally.
week.
You're focused. That's the way you got to be, man. You got to be.
Yeah,
it's a job,
it's a
right?
it's a
Like, you don't
business, and
show up
like
to their job and like stop
That's
them
right.
from doing what they got to do. Like you're like, hey, show me around your office. Like I have a meeting right now. It's crazy. Like I'm gonna meet with my boss. Yeah, it's your job. So I've always
tell
found
that to
that
my
interesting,
parents
because
too,
like if
because like
I
they
was like on the PGA Tour, I'd be like, oh my god, my buddies want to travel the world with me. I would, they'd want to experience all this stuff, and it'd be hard to like have that mindset to be able to shut it off and kind of say like, no, this is what I do, and this is my job. It seems like the coolest thing in the world, but like I have to take it seriously, guys. Like we'll see after we win. We'll celebrate out of the trophy, but aside from that, Thursday through Sunday is my time.
Did you say you had to tell that to your parents?
Yeah, like with my parents, not that exactly, but like my dad, he's super into it, and like rightfully so. Like, he was they weren't at all like these helicopter parents, but they definitely lived like vicariously through me a little bit. And um, my after a couple bad weeks, my dad's like, "Oh, are you doing the right things?" I'm like, "Dude, like I don't show up to your job review and like get to say what you're doing. Like just because you can see what scores I'm shooting, doesn't mean that you necessarily know what's best." And he's like a 30 handicap too, so like he's the last guy in the world I'm gonna listen to.
You
But
always got that over him. Like, dude,
oh
I'm
yeah,
not listening to you. What are you, crazy?
yeah, I'm not gonna try and putt it like you out of all people. Um, but yeah, he's man, it's but it's definitely a good problem to have of parents that are care and
Yeah.
put a lot into it. But it is like even with them and my family, it's like, hey, like I need like an arm's length, or even like my dad sent into the family group chat like, oh look, these are like the betting odds for the first rookie to win, and I'm like, dude, like I don't need to see that. Like, come on, dude.
Nope.
God, it is
That's
hard
really
when
funny.
like your boys apart. Like it's like like I can't. It's hard. It's because you're in it. You are the guy that the betting odds is on, but like it's like his son. So he's like, this is cool. You know what I mean? It's so hard.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is so sick. Like you're in the CBS like sports odds, like, oh, they're cool. And I'm like, dude, like I don't need to see what other people's expectations are.
Right. Trying to hit fairways, man. I'm just trying to hit the fairway.
That's awesome, man.
That's really good. I got a question about kind of seeing and learning new courses. What's your process like for that? Because obviously 2024 you played, quite a few, sprinkled in plenty of tour events over the last couple of years, but there's also going to be a lot of weeks this year where you're rolling into a PGA Tour venue, for the first time. Are you relying on like decade golf? Do you consult anybody? Do you just get there early? What's your process like for that?
Yeah, that same stats guy that helps me out with a lot of my like how am I doing, also does stats for the golf course. So he takes the ShotLink historical data and puts a lot of algorithms on top of all of it to kind of extract a little bit more data than just like, oh, hey, people leave birdies from here and people leave bogeys from here. Kind of essentially creating like a hey strokes gained situation for certain locations on the golf course, and you can based off that, it's like hey, you know, left rough is really good, right? Compared to right rough. Right rough is absolutely crap. So we're going to take your target down left center here. And, hey, to all these pins around the greens, these are the 5 or 6 pins they've used. Here are good spots to miss relative to the bad spots. So it gives you kind of like it give you like, like a 10,000-foot view on the golf course. And then when you come to your practice round, I feel a lot more prepared. And we're lucky too that the yardage books on tour is so good. You can I spend a little bit extra. You get these picture books. You have a picture of the tee shot and the different lines. So you're like, hey, you can see like, hey, this is the 300
Wow, I
run
didn't know
out
that.
with the picture. Yeah, I mean they're awesome. I have one right here. I can show it.
And the PGA Tour makes those available?
Yeah, so it's the same guy that makes them for everyone. He'll make the normal books without the pictures, and then you can get these books with the pictures, and then a couple more numbers.
got a
So like
little
you can
business
see like waste management 18 here.
Yeah,
That's what.
look at that.
With the grandstands up and everything.
Yeah, it has the grandstands up and everything, so you can see like, hey, right there, we're trying to hit it on the left edge of that big grandstand, or like on number 9, there's literally like a 9 written out on the top left of the tent. That was our target for the week. So it's nice. Like I get this book on Monday and I look through it and look at my guys' data, and I pretty much know where I'm going to hit my tee shot, what club with already.
The photo book
Unreal.
I didn't even know those were available. I've never seen one of those. That's a huge, because trying to orient yourself with like the normal yardage book thing is fine until you look up and you're like, wait a second, where was that little point that like I saw in the book versus having the photo is really
Yeah, the
nice.
viewpoint of what you're actually going to see on the tee during tournament week is massive.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge. It's huge. And there's a lot of, it's really big on some of these blind tee shots that you might see. That, or, like Torrey Pines has a couple holes, especially on the North Courser, kind of like goes up and then down, and you're like, where's the right edge? Where's the left edge of the fairway? And they kind of have that pointed out. It's nice. Like I draw just little field goal posts, and I'm just trying to kick field goals all day. And it makes it easy, simplifies it for us, and just one less thing to think about throughout the week.
Are you a decade golf guy by any chance? Do you do that? Because you've said a
Not a
couple things that reminded me of his system, where it's like you don't want to go a foot and a half more because like you just get in that circle. You can't really miss many putts when you're just dealing with speed. Like he's all about speed on the greens and field goal posts off the tee box.
Yeah, I think I'm not a decade golf guy. Scott, I think Scott is an interesting cat.
Yeah, we've done videos of him. He's
That's
for
the
sure.
understatement of the century. is
Yeah.
that he's
Oh,
an
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's
he's-
kind of a lunatic. I mean, I know he knows that. I think he knows
but
that.
yeah, but he definitely does know it. But I think it's a lot of stuff he does is really good. I don't agree with everything he's doing, but I think a lot of the stuff you do as stack guys is somewhere along the lines of what he's doing.
Okay.
But there's I think too, there's a fine line of being too prescriptive. When you're playing golf, it's hard to be like, you want to hit this 3 yards short and exactly 5 yards right in the pin. Instead, like me and my guy, we're going to do like, hey, we're going to aim just a little bit right of the pin. We're going to aim, to the center of the green.
Yeah.
We're going to try to leave it just under the pin.
More
trying to
athletic
hit
that
short
way.
of the pin. Yeah, exactly. You're not trying to get too, because at the end of the day too, like if I have 140 from the middle of the fairway, like, and I in theory, that's a perfect gap wedge or whatever it is. Like I could still hit it 3 yards long or 3 yards short, just kind of depending on how I strike it. Like we're not that good. I think, Johnny Miller talked about how he did yardages to like a half yardage, and the rumor is that he just did that to mess with people. and to make him think that he's better than he actually is.
Amazing. Good.
149.5.
Johnny Miller, baby.
Smart. No, I don't know if you guys saw. I just saw this recent like Tiger video where one guy posted. He was like one of the short game guys, and it was like the first half of the video was Tiger talking to like a bunch of the TaylorMade guys. They were doing one of the shoots, like Rory and these other guys, and he was like, they were chipping, and Tiger chipped one and nipped one in there to like a foot, and they're talking to Tiger's like, "Oh, I'm never a spot guy. I'm all hands and feel. I've never like chipped to a spot ever." And they're like, "Oh, you don't." Because you kind of look at the hole, and he goes, "Never spot ever." And then the second half of the video is him being like, "You always got to pick out a spot out there every time, and like chip to a spot." And all the comments were like, "Tiger's playing chess. He's just fucking with everybody."
It's a divots thing again with Scottie.
Yeah,
don't take divots when I'm flushing it.
What's your relationship
so
to a Tiger Woods? I mean, I think you were born in like 2000, and so what's your like relationship in a fan way to a guy like Tiger Woods?
Yeah, I mean, some of my first memories of Tiger is probably like the 07 or 07 or 08 Open. Which one was it?
Yeah, broken leg. 08.
Yeah, broken leg. Yeah, I remember that because I mean I'm from Pittsburgh, so Rocco's a guy from Greensburg, PA, just on the road. You know, the whole town was pretty much rooting for Rocco a little bit there. So it was I kind of remember that, and I remember some of his big time golf like he played in the early 2010s and that, and it was I mean obviously I think just one of those guys that transcends the game of golf, and was super popular for everyone of my age growing up, and made a lot of people want to play golf.
It's crazy that like when we started doing this show 9 years ago, it's like the JTs and the Spieths and all them grew up with like when they were teenage golfers, Tiger was like the guy, and then like talking to you're almost like too young for Tiger. Like I was
right. That's why I wanted to bring it up because
dude, when Tiger was winning, like when he was that whole decade, you were like 0 to like 7 years old. It's like that whole decade. And I'm thinking like
when he had his real big run, it was like I was just way too young, and I kind of caught the latter half of his like second surge.
Yep.
And then also that comeback in 19, which is like unbelievable. That was my senior year of high school. I certainly remember that. I watched every freaking shot of that thing. So it was he definitely is a guy that, still inspires a lot of kids beyond, the years that he is really in his heyday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Goddamn, Tiger Woods. Well, yeah. I mean, you played with him in the final round. It was his last round at the Masters.
Great memories of them.
Yeah, he used to have some good memories with them, and man, that was a cool day.
Didn't you beat him that day?
I did, but
did you tell him? You're like, I beat you by no.
Honestly,
Does that scorecard say Tiger? Let me sign that real quick.
Next time I'll have to. I think if I poked him about that next time I see him, I'd get a good laugh out of it, and he'd probably be like, "Well, how many majors do you have?"
Yeah, right. But dude, that's shit. Like playing Augusta National on Sunday at the Masters and beating Tiger Woods that's the dream we all have, where we wake up before we can make contact with the ball. Like nothing is going right. Have you ever had that dream as a golfer though? Like where you like can't tee up the ball? We talk about this all the time. Like you get up to a tee and you just keep putting it on, something happens, the ball rolls off, someone walks in front of the tee. Have you ever experienced this dream?
I don't know if I've had that dream. Like, and I feel like that's like, it's almost like the dreams where you kind of get frozen and you can't do something. Like, I think I've probably had ones like that before, but
never golf related though.
I can't really remember a golf one like that.
We've all shared that, but then we had a dream specialist on.
Oh man.
And she went so deep into like why everyone has like the same dreams or like something similar. Mm-hmm. And it has to do with
metaphor,
a lot of mental issues that I think a lot of this we all share, where like, like for me, like I don't want things to end. I don't want people to die. So like I keep having the same dream of like driving off of a bridge and like not being, it's a nightmare. It's bad.
We really got Neal Shipley involved.
Yeah, we got
this thing. This is the part where you can hang up.
Yeah, you can just hang up. You got a lot going on. You're trying to relax.
Slowly leaves the chat. He's like, all right, well, this guy.
But she said that there is a very common dream, and we all share it, the three of us, where you can't get it done. Riggs says like there's this one. Are you at the Masters, the 18th hole of the Masters?
Dude, I'm somehow in the Masters, Neal, and I'm excited for it, whatever. And I'm like, I'm like in the time there's reasons that I'm like supposed to be there, but in my head, I'm like, of course I'm not supposed to be here. And then, dude, I go to tee up the ball and like 15 different things will happen that never allow me to actually hit the first tee shot. Like right when I pull the club back, like somebody drives a cart across the first tee and I have to like back off. And then like when I tee it up the second time, I get like hit by my caddy in the funny bone and I like knock the ball off the tee. And I'm like, no, I got it, guys. Don't worry. Everybody just relax. I'm going to hit. And this happens for like 5 minutes. And then I never end up teeing off in the Masters. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds about right. We're all a little messed up in the head be playing this game anyway, so it makes sense that we have these odd dreams and don't know exactly what the heck to do with ourselves.
God,
I know.
so good. I know, man. Well,
I know. When are you playing next, Neal?
Playing on playing Cognizant. That's the game plan. So I'll be down here in Palm Beach for the next couple weeks. It's literally just down the road from me. So excited to get a little home game and get to be in my bed for a little bit longer. That's don't get that a lot when you're playing this much pro golf.
Yeah.
The first ace in TGL history right here. This guy. That is very cool. That clip was awesome. Your guys' celebration was great. Luke and Min are awesome guys. So you guys just kind of living it up. Getting the win too was huge. You made the final putt. You made that like 15-footer to win the match. You threw the hammer down at the right time. So you clearly knew the kind of the hammer strategy. So just a fantastic first TGL performance out of you. And awesome chatting, man. We got to get you on, we'll get you on throughout the year, whatnot, kind of document how things are going. But we appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. It's good to be finally on. I don't think I've done this show before, so it's
I think we did maybe a quick one after you
maybe right
after.
The Masters.
Yeah, right after like, Augusta, I think a real
you were
quick
doing
like
crazy
5 minute
media.
That's right.
I remember you sitting down doing like computer after computer.
That was I think that was a crazy week because like I go to Augusta, I fly back on Monday, and it's like Tuesday and Wednesday all day. All I did was schoolwork and media. It was quite the whirlwind.
Now when you come on, we tell you about our dreams. You stay on long enough, we tell you about our dreams.
Right. You've learned the sweet spot. The first one was too short. This one was a little too long when we start talking about our dreams. Usually.
Third time's a charm, man.
You're the man, Neal. We appreciate you coming
Neal,
on.
we really appreciate it, man. We'll be rooting for you out there and hopefully to see you out there at the Cognizant or one of the other tournaments.
Yeah, of course, boys. Hope to see you guys out there soon, and you guys take care.
Let's all play better golf this year, my friends. Let's all do it. Let's all have our best year of golf ever, and let's do it by going to Dick's Sporting Goods, by going to Golf Galaxy, and checking out the Skills Barstool Golf training aids, from chipping nets to putting mats to the putting mirror to the hinge trainer to the swing guide trainer. This stuff is all fantastic and very helpful.
Yeah, I mean, golf season, at least up north here, it's coming around. We got still a little bit to go, but you can still get prepared for it. You probably got a month or two before the golf course start opening, before it gets warm enough. And if you want to be ready, get these Barstool Skills training aids. You can just start working on your game. Don't have that be an excuse. Don't go to the first tee, that first round back, and be like, oh, I just haven't played and I haven't prepared for this new golf season. You knew it was coming. We all know it's coming. So get these training aids, help yourself out, and have 2026 be the best year of golf for you. You can do it with Barstool Skills training aids.
You could do it. We're going to help. Skills is going to help. Located at Dick's Sporting Goods and Golf Galaxy, the Skills and Barstool Golf training aids are designed to help sharpen every single aspect of your game. We've been using this stuff. All of it's legit. It really helps. Last year was my best year of golf on camera I've ever had. Handicap got down to about as low as it's ever been, and that's because I was out there. I wasn't alone. I was using the Skills Barstool Golf training aids. Foreplay and skills. Train smarter, play better.
That's Neal Shipley.
That was Neal Shipley. What a guy, man. He's our kind of guy. He's got the hair.
Good dude. Soft-spoken.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Soft-spoken, but very intelligent, and also really just brings you in to, like, not the struggles of the PGA Tour, but he's going to let you know everything. You ask him a question, what are the hardships that you're going through in terms of putting and all, and he's going to let you know everything. He's not one of those guys, how easy it is for a guy to come out here and just be like, I don't know, I just like suck. Like, you want to just keep talking about like why I'm not making putts, like that's so easy to just say like, I'm the golfer, you're not, and I'm going to worry about this stuff. But to bring the viewer in, and now when we watch Neal Shipley play, We know things he's working on. We know things that he's good at. We know things that he likes. We know now when he's going to be like lag putting like a monster at the Cognizant. We're going to be like, oh shit, he was working on that. He's been working on his speed. Like,
dude, it's funny that
our
difference,
job is
that
all
difference
about.
he's talking about is unbelievable. Of like lagging it to 2.5 to 3 feet versus like 1 to 1.5 foot is a statistical tell sign that like you need to get your speed better because the hole gets much bigger at like 1 foot pace versus 3 foot pace by the hole. That's insane.
I also thought he had a great answer to your question, Frankie, of like, you were basically like, is it intimidating to be out there and on the range with Scottie Scheffler and all these guys? And he viewed it as a positive. He was like, these guys are human. He was like, they put their pants on just like I do. And like, I thought I think that's a really healthy way to look at it, as opposed to being super intimidated and being like, man, I kind of have imposter syndrome and I don't belong out here. He's like, these guys are just like me. They just do their thing the best. And that's what he's got to do for himself.
He was excellent. All right. That's a nice, pretty full show there.
Yeah,
gentlemen.
It's a great show. Do you guys want to sneak in a closest to the pin before we close this thing out, just as like a post show closest to the pin? I think I got a couple good questions for the weekend if you guys want to get into this real fast. I know it's going to take some time, but
sure.
Let's do it. I absolutely think we should do it.
All right. This
you
is
want to recap last one?
Yeah, Ryan Richardson,
Yes,
welcome to the show again. Our super producer has been making everything way better on the podcast front. Please give us an update on where we're at, closest to the pin standings, and then we will go into this week's competition.
All right, so the current standings are Trent 6, Frankie 1, me and Riggs 0. And last week we had Brooke, or 2 weeks ago, I guess, right? Yeah, 2 weeks. We had Brooks's birdie or Brooks's amount of birdies on Friday of the Farmers Insurance Open. Trent, Riggs, and me guessed 5. Frankie guessed 4. He had 3, so Frankie got 1 point there.
Okay, there you go, Frank.
Back at the Grammys, Kendrick Lamar was nominated for, I think, 9, and he ended up winning 5 of them. And Riggs and Frankie guessed 5 on the dot.
Come on!
So that's 2 each. And then me and Trent guessed 7, so not close.
Damn.
Then it was points, rebounds, and assists and blocks for Wemby against the Hornets. And Frankie guessed 47, I guessed 45, Riggs and Trent 44. So Riggs and Trent got 1 point each.
Okay.
What was the answer on that one?
Oh, 25. He got 25. So not a great game there for Wemby.
That stinks.
Damn.
Stinks.
Had 25 points in 8 minutes last night. Stinks.
Overrated.
Jesus.
No, I'm joking. And then inches of snow the weekend of January 31st and February 1st in New York City.
11.
Yeah, Frank said 11, Rick said 9, Trent 5.3, I said 0. So I got the 2 points there with 0.
Wow, Ryan Richardson went
there we go.
Prices right on our asses.
I'm on the board. So that brings the current standings to 7 for Trent, Frankie 4, Riggs 3, and me 2.
Okay.
Yeah, man. That storm just missed us. Nothing ever happened. I was like, we're not going to be able to get to the waste
management.
Kind
of what they said, right? Didn't they say it was going to be like 1.5 feet or 0?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, Frankie. So now you've got the questions this week.
My first closest to the pin questions of the year. We have a big weekend ahead starting tonight as you're listening to this, or today at 3 p.m. Team USA is in the Olympics for hockey. No better time to watch puck than right now. The United States team has not won gold since the 1980 Miracle on Ice. We need to get some gold around these guys' necks. I think this could be the team that does it. It's going to be a battle. So my question is, we've got Latvia versus USA. We've got USA versus Denmark, and then USA versus Germany. There are 3 preliminary games. How many goals will the United States of America score in their first 3 preliminary games?
Okay.
So Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Shout out Brock Nelson. He's wheels down in Milan. I've been in contact with him. It is so cool to be talking to an Olympian, and I cannot believe he's going to be representing our country playing hockey. I love that guy so much. And
who's the favorite to win gold?
Canada.
Okay.
Right?
I didn't want to.
Canada and US are close.
Yeah, they're close. I mean, the Four Nations was such a good preview as to what we're going to see, but let me just get this answer in. And then Sweden's got a pretty good team. There's a lot of good teams out there. It's just it's a shame that Russia had to invade a country for a lot of reasons. I think also one of like the side reasons that I'm upset about is they're not in the Olympics, and like they have such a good team. It would be great to be able to watch those guys, but their country are real pieces of shit right now.
So the I legitimately know nothing about this. So the Olympics came through and they're like, you cannot be involved in this.
The last couple Olympics, yeah, they
Okay.
just aren't in it. If you invade a country, you're like not invited to the Olympics. Like I think like North Korea is not in it, right? And then Russia is not in it. But you got guys like Ovechkin. This would have been his last Olympics, like stuff like that. It's, you know, they got a pretty damn good team. Vasilevsky in net. All right, you can read this off.
Yeah, what are these guesses?
All right, Riggs guesses 15. I guessed 18. Trent guessed 9, and Frankie guessed 11.
All right.
That feels like a horrible guess by me.
You never know. They can play a team like Denmark and just absolutely just like go 8 on them. You know, it's hard.
Fuck. Yeah.
Or like Germany.
All right.
Okay, next question is, I'm attending the Daytona 500 this year with my father-in-law, his friend Mike, and my buddy Tom. We're going down there on Sunday morning. We're driving from Jacksonville after playing TPC Sawgrass. It's a hell of a weekend. I saw a bunch of rain coming in. This is 3 years now that we're trying to go to this thing. There's a ton of rain coming in this weekend. I think there's been 60 Daytona 500s. It's rained like 12 or 13 of them going into this week, which is a pretty bad percentage. Like that's not good for Florida. You'd think it's like perfect weather. It rains a lot, and if any precipitation comes down, they delay it. My question to you guys is, what time, and I don't know how Ryan Richardson's going to be able to figure this out, but what time will the Daytona 500 end? So it starts at 2:30.
Okay.
And I'm going to look for what time will it will end, because you got to think there's a lot of rain in the forecast, tons of stoppages, so your answer could be Monday, like it could be whatever you think it is, but I'm saying what time. So include day and time.
I do want to say that I have no context of how long the Daytona 500 usually takes. Is it 3 hours?
My random instinct based on nothing was like 3 hour race.
Same. That's what I just thought. All right, this is a 3 hour sporting event. It could be a 7 hour sporting event.
Nothing.
Really? I have no clue either. All right, so you want a time and a day of when this is going to end?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're saying they're just seeing this crazy. The thing about it is, it's not even like it's just a little bit of rain that might come in. Every time I go to the Daytona 500 with my father-in-law, it's this like storm that's building off of the West Coast that's pummeling towards Central Florida. It's crazy. It's like, it's one that like is unavoidable. So you can't make it up.
Okay. Guesses are in.
All right. In.
Trent Ryan says Sunday night at 7:48 p.m. Riggs says Sunday night 8:47 p.m. Frankie Sunday 8:05 p.m. and I went Monday night, or I guess Monday morning 12:07 a.m.
Wow.
I'm gonna go rain delays. So
it can go that late?
Well, they'll just schedule it for the next day. Like, you know, if it just gets canceled, postponed, they'll do it Monday.
Okay.
What time's it start?
2:30.
Okay.
2:30.
12:07 a.m. That's past midnight.
Yeah. Try to get it done
after midnight.
Oh, I see what you did there. Very interesting.
Yeah. That's
okay.
Yeah,
I thought you meant the next day, 12 p.m. Okay.
Okay.
Pebble Beach. I've got 2 questions about Pebble Beach. One of them is going to be an automatic 2-pointer. It's going to be a yes or a no.
Okay.
Will there be a hole-in-one on the 7th hole at Pebble Beach this week?
Okay. Good question. I saw Rory Eagle 18 yesterday. That was cool.
That was awesome.
Really a cool video.
I mean, this is a bad decision, but I'm going to do it.
I made the same decision you made. I think. I don't know, but judging off of like
I went
statistics.
With the unfun decision, but
all right. So Frankie and I said no, and Riggs and Trent said yes.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Somebody's getting 2.
It's amazing.
Somebody's getting 2.
Each PGA Tour season, my brain gets wiped for these events. Like, did it happen last year? I have no idea.
I don't know.
Like, I don't remember the moment if it happened, but it's like it feels like it should happen.
are all hitting 100-yard wedge shots. Somebody should fucking dunk it. Come on.
Okay.
Okay, my last question. You actually brought up. I think did you bring up the 6th hole or did you bring up the 8th hole? Someone just said Rory eagled.
Oh, 18.
18.
You eagled 18.
Oh, 18. Okay. My question is going to be about. I love the 6th hole. I think it's such a great hole.
Mm-hmm.
What will Scottie Scheffler's combined score to par be on the 6th hole at Pebble Beach for the rounds that he plays?
Wow.
I know.
I actually saw an interesting tidbit that the fried egg did on this.
No. So
On the hole. They moved the hole back 17 yards this year.
I saw that.
Oh.
I did see that. Oh, wow.
So guys aren't going to be hitting the green in 2 as much?
Oh, I think a lot of the part that because they're the architecture aficionados, and a part that they were talking about is that a lot of guys were hitting 3-wood off the tee to stay short of where everything pinches in down there in the fairway with the bunkers in the ocean. That now it's not necessarily that they're going to like not be able to reach. It's that they're going to have to kind of hit drivers now instead of just 3-woods in order to get there in 2.
So more room for error.
More room for error, right? But
love that hole, man. It's just like that's what makes me think of Pebble, because it's like that whole turn. You make that right. You got 7 next. You got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The whole deal. It's unbelievable. I fucking love that hole. I've also played that hole really well over the years. I always hit a good drive. You can miss it out left. I feel very confident on that tee.
I think that's my favorite hole out there.
It might be.
Riggs and I said -4, and Frankie and Trent said -3.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
It's amazing because Scottie is so consistent that there's not that much disparity amongst those answers. Like, I think if you pick any guy, if you pick the number 80th ranked guy, it could be 1 over. It could, you know what I mean? It could be all over the place, but he probably will just make birdie every day, and maybe one day just doesn't.
I was also, those guys were talking about something really interesting with that hole too that I never realized, is that, the 5th hole was like relatively new. It was like they purchased land like decades after the course was built. And so the 5th hole, par 3, for those listening, par 3 along the water, you play 4 along the water, you play 5. It's like a 200 or 190 yard par 3 along the water. And then people don't realize after you play that hole, guys, you know how you leave your bag and then you walk up to the left, like 200 yards up to the left? Well, that hole used to go from the 4th green. It used to go back up into the land.
Oh.
And then when you would finish the 5th hole, you would walk out instead of back, and you would get this incredible reveal from the 6th tee of the 6th hole for the first time, because you didn't walk backwards. You walked like sideways and out of the trees and hedges, and you got this incredible reveal, which is really cool.
So those like houses up on the left, like on that, I guess it's like, is it houses or are they like little buildings, like maintenance buildings on the left?
They're like homes.
Are they homes? Like that was a golf hole going up there.
There was a hole there, and then they got rid of that hole because they purchased the land that was along the cliff and built a cliffside hole instead.
Incredible.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That is cool.
I mean, I like that you can see it coming down 4. Even like you could see parts of it, I feel like on 3, but like I would like that kind of reveal, because it really is. It's cinematic. That hole is,
and it's hard to change 5 because it's such a cool par 3. Like, you're not going to get rid of that, but it is like that little walk back up does feel a little disjointed, when you do it, and that's why.
Yeah, that is true. It does.
That's a motherfucker of a par 3 for me. So for some reason, it just gets me, especially if you play like the back tees. It's a freaking.
You can make $1 million there. It's like a 5 or 5 iron or something.
5 iron, like you're already like, you're kind of shaky. You're playing Pebble. You see 6, 7, 8 all in the distance, and you're like, I got a freaking rope in the wind, 4 iron into this tucked green that like anything short right is just dead. I have a great photo of Trent like barely hanging onto the cliff on that hole.
Yeah, I've made I've parred that hole, and I've made $1 million on that hole. It really just depends.
But the ball actually funnels back to where like the pin is. If you hit that middle part of the green,
right?
It's almost like
you land that
not a redan,
left
but
of the
it's like
green, and that ball ends up in a good spot.
Yep.
It's a good shot for my shape. If I can get it up there with the distance,
I
can
think a 5 iron for Trent from like the tees we play, from the regular tees, like up in the air with a little bit of a cut off that like there's a bunker in like the middle left, right? Like off that.
Yeah.
Hits the middle of the green with some side spin and just goes to that back right pin. That's birdie opportunity.
Sometimes I'm in the rough on the left side, but even that is just an up and down. Like I've done that before. It's great.
Up and down, as long as you're not making like double there. If you make a bogey there, that's fine. Because that hole, man, you got to cover
6
a lot of
great.
crap.
7's the worst hole in the world. 8 is unbelievable.
Make sure you show that picture.
8 was made for a 5 wood 7 or 7 wood. Like just cruise one. You pick the caddy will give you like a chimney to hit at, like that gold chimney in the house in the back, and you just freaking rip at it.
I had Golf Channel on the other day, maybe just like in the background, and they replayed the shot that Spieth hit on 8 where he was at the edge. You forget
that's his like biggest regret in his life, like attempting that shot.
I think so, since he's had kids and stuff.
Dude, it's closer than you even think. Then like if you haven't watched it in a while, you go back and you watch it and you're like, if his left foot slips an inch and a half, he's gonzo.
His momentum could have killed him.
What's that?
His momentum could have killed him.
Really, really scary. Even the announcers, they had the audio from the announcers like during that tournament, and they were like, "This is fucking crazy that he's trying to do this." But
it was
great
nuts.
hole. Great golf hole.
All right.
Yeah, boys, I'm in the thick of the baby watching thing right now. I got to get down to this kid. That person watching him's got to go to work. It's chaos, man. You know, having children definitely messes up your time schedule.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard for sure.
At some point, that baby's going to make an appearance on this podcast. I can feel it. You're just going to be
next week. Like, yeah, when she goes to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like he's just going to be sitting here, 100%. 100%.
That's fine.
Great show with Neal Shipley. We appreciate him. Make sure you check out YouTube with Chazzy, the man, the myth, the legend. He is back on the channel, so go scope that out. Enjoy the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am this week. They do a great job out there. Shout out to my man Steve John, who is the tournament director out there and does a really good job. So I'm glad that they made it an elevated event. And we'll be back next week to talk about all of it and much more. Hit it hard.
Hit hard.